There was a time in my life when everything felt broken. My body, my spirit, my sense of purpose. I was paralyzed, devastated by illness, and felt invisible. And yet, hope found me. It was July 4th, 2014. I was sitting in a wheelchair ready to die. My nervous system was shutting down again. Soon enough, I would have difficulty breathing and swallowing. It had already affected my legs and I couldn't walk. I looked down at the IV puncture wounds in my wrists and arms. I could no longer stand the pain. It was excruciating. I'd been in the hospital 8 times that year and had been pricked 20 or 30 times during each stay. I could not handle the needles anymore. I looked at my husband and told him not to take me to the hospital. I wanted to die naturally and let nature take its course. I could see the panic in my husband's eyes, but he kept quiet, not knowing what to say. He wheeled me to our church 4th of July party. Kids were playing, grown-ups chatting and laughing. They had no idea that I was ready to die. My husband left me at the table to get some food from the festive, colorful buffet ready for the holiday. I sat there alone, telling my higher power I was done living. I was ready to move on. I felt someone tap me on the shoulder. I looked to my right and saw one of our church members standing there. He asked me how I was doing. He was a doctor at the local hospital and knew my situation. I told him I wasn't going back to the hospital and I was going to let my body die naturally. His face went a little pale, but then I saw the determination in his eyes. He looked at me and said very confidently, "I'm going to put a port in you this week. This way, they won't have to poke needles into your arms anymore. Be ready for surgery in a few days." He was the head of the interventional radiology department as well as a surgeon. He smiled, gave my hand a squeeze, and left to visit the next person. I was stunned. I told my husband when he came back to the table. I could see the relief in his eyes, and I felt a glimmer of hope. That week, I waited for the phone call, and sure enough, Tuesday evening, the doctor called me. I went to the hospital the next morning with butterflies, but hope was growing stronger. They wheeled me into surgery. Everything went smoothly and perfectly. The next day, I started having trouble breathing, and my husband rushed me to the hospital to get a 10-hour IV treatment that saved my life. There was no pain as they accessed my port. There was no anxiety. I had a deep gratitude for my higher power and this doctor who was my angel. He came at the perfect time. There are no coincidences. God, a higher power, is there. He knows your pain, even in your darkest hour. Hope is working through the angels around you. And if you can't see those angels, they will find you.